Well, welcome back. Sorry about the delay getting this episode out. But spending a lot of time online looking things up. There is no manual on how to build one of these, so you kind of have to research everything and figure it out. Been working on the bus bars for the batteries. Been working on the wire harness. I ended up buying a new wire harness for the MG to run all the lights and everything. I have to modify it somewhat, removing some lines, adding some other lines or wires. But that's getting done. I wanted to get all the high voltage lines in. I wanted to do this before I do any of the, before the painting is done. It's much easier to do now, and I don't have to worry about damaging any paint or the finish on the car. I'm just roughing things in. I'm not actually connecting the wires, most of the wires. I mainly want to do this so if I have to weld on a bracket or drill a hole, I can do that and not have to worry about damaging paint. But it's getting there. Anyway, this is episode 13. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. This is the front battery box cover. This part up here is hinged, so this can open up so we can get access to the battery management system and some of the wiring and stuff, things. This upper piece up here will be, screwed on all the way around and sealed. This one here, I put some quarter-turn fasteners on. I'll show you how this opens. These are aluminum DZUS fasteners. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but anyway, they're quarter turns. I've got 4 of those on there. These were the, let me do this. These were the brackets with this little spring, wire springs on there. I welded these on before I painted this, and then marked the holes. But yeah, this works out pretty good. The springs are just pop riveted on. Yeah, looks pretty good. The original radiator support was bolted on both of these inner fender wells. I went ahead and made these aluminum panels just to help somewhat cover things up, to keep a lot of wind or rain, whatever, from flying back in here too bad. There is a gap, a little bit of a gap around here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the top portion here on both sides yet, so I really haven't finished it. But I kind of got those mocked up, how they're going to go. I'm not planning on putting any holes or anything in these. These will just be solid and just bolted on. I might put a rubber seal or something around the inner edges next to the battery box just to help seal things a little bit. I did some bead rolling here on this front panel. I'm not sure what type of an emblem or whatever I'm going to put on the front of this, but I just taped that on there just to get an idea of what something would look like. I've been working on the new throttle. I had to remove this was an original bracket that was up here for the hinge point for the original throttle or gas pedal that hung down here. This was the hinge point here. I took that off. It was totally in the way, and I made a couple of brackets for the new throttle, and I was fitting that on here, and that will fit something like that. I'll need to weld those in. I was just marking where things go, but it clears the steering column hole and the plug. There's enough room at the top to plug the wiring in. So anyway, that's where that's going to go. This will be the brake pedal, the position of it. What I think I'm going to do, this is actually the pedal off the clutch side. You can see how it's bent a little to the left. I think what I'm going to do is just put a larger brake pad on this. So I'll take this rubber piece off, make a larger brake pad down here. But yeah, that's all we really need under here is the like that, is the two pedals, the throttle and the brake. I have the panels made for the rear battery box. They all just screw on, so they're somewhat easy to remove. Again, they'll be covered with either carpet or vinyl. The lid here is just sitting on there. And again, the rear panel just screws on across here, and then it's bolted on. I made 4 little brackets here, so that's easy to remove. And that just attached over the steel framework for the battery box. The batteries will just sit in here. I picked up some copper bus bar material. This is 1/4 inch by 3/4. It's basically scrap, so I got it a little bit cheaper, or actually a lot cheaper than buying online through a metal dealer or something. I actually just paid for it by the pound. Anyway, with this bus bar material, I've been cutting and drilling and tapping. These are the rear batteries. There's 8 of them, and the batteries are going to be parallel. So what that means is this is battery 1, and this is the lower part of battery 1. So these two are parallel together. This is the negative end here, and this is the positive end over here for battery 1. And that goes to battery number 2, which is here, to the negative. So it goes positive and negative, and this bus bar connects them like that. Then at this end, this is the positive end of number 2, and again parallel. This will slip in behind here and be bolted, oops, like that. And that will go from the positive to the negative for battery 3, or the pair of batteries. And then we go to 3 to 4, again connected here with the bus bar. And this is the positive end of battery 4. Here, this one, the positive end of this will go to the batteries, the lower battery box in the front, which is this one. So this will be battery 5 here, the pair, then it'll go battery 6, and then it'll go battery 7. And then this end, the positive end here, will come up through the opening here to the upper box to battery number 8, the positive side, or the negative side, excuse me. This battery's, I don't have it set in there, but that's what I'm going to work on next, is getting these 6 connected together with some bus bars and some wiring. This is one of the front battery boxes, the lower one. This actually goes back up into the transmission tunnel. The firewall's right about in this area here. Anyway, I got all the bus bars made to connect the batteries together. I'll probably have to drill a hole up through here. I had kind of a cover on here to deflect any moisture, water, or anything that might come down here. The fan will actually blow out at this location here, but I think I'm gonna have to redo this section, upper part of it here. I need more clearance because I'll be running putting a connector up here where the positive cable from the rear battery box will come in here and come around and connect over here to the number 5 battery, and then it'll go to number 6, number 7, and then come out here and back up into the upper box, which is here. It's sitting on end right now. Yeah, it's coming together. These are the batteries for the upper box at the front. They start off with battery, the pair of batteries 8 here. This comes up from the lower box here from battery 7. This battery 8, and then it goes to 9. 9 on the other side connects to 10. 10 on positive side here connects to 11. 11 connects to 12 on the other side, and 12 goes to 13 on this side. And then this is the positive out to the contactor box in the back. This is the 325 volts positive comes out here. This is the underside of the car in the back. I don't have the swing arms or axles on here because I wanted to have room to work back here. So what I'm doing is I just want to get all the wiring and cabling roughed in before the body is painted or any body work is done. Where do I start? Okay, the contactor box is here. These are the high voltage cables. These two are from the motor. Here are the positive and negative. And these two are from the battery, and the positive and negative from the battery. This one being positive, that one being negative. I'll show you the contactor box later. These are the coolant lines I've also been working on. These are the stock Tesla coolant lines for the motor and converter. What's worked out nicely is this is the water pump for the coolant. The radiator is mounted up in front of the front battery box. What was kind of neat about this is this is the power plug here for the water pump. The original fuel pump for the car was mounted in almost the same exact place. So the wiring was already there in the stock MG wiring harness. I'm just going to use it to run the water pump instead of a fuel pump. So when you turn the key on, the 12 volt power on, this will just automatically come on and continually circulate coolant. And this is the view from the other side where the coolant lines. Everything from here back was the Tesla coolant hoses, coolant lines. I'm running the high voltage lines down the transmission tunnel. I don't have them all attached yet, but I'm still just trying to figure out what I need to do here. What I don't have in here yet is the coolant lines running from the back to the front. This is the lower battery box in the front. As you can see, there's no batteries in it. I was mainly setting up, like I said, trying to rough in all these cables. These are the high voltage cables. This is the cable connecting the rear box to the lower front box, which is pretty close to the correct length. And this is the high voltage positive out of the upper front box that I'll be attaching. This here's the stock wiring harness for the MG, and brake lines running down the right side underneath the floor pan, which you can kind of see. That's the routing they take. I'll be leaving that kind of in the stock place. This is the view which I've shown you before in earlier episodes of the radiator for the motor. This is the output that goes up to the reservoir tank, which I'll show you up above. This is the original overflow tank for the original radiator. This is going to be where we'll be filling up the coolant for the cooling system for the motor. This is the original tank. It's brass. It was painted originally, but I thought it looked better in the brass. So I'll probably polish this up a little more and then clear coat it. I'll let it look kind of cool. The system is not a pressurized system anymore. The temperature of the coolant really doesn't get much over 100 degrees, 110 degrees maybe. I'm not really sure about that. So there's no pressure involved in this system. It's just basically coolant running through, cooling things off and through the radiator. This is the top view of the motor. You can kind of see where we're in the high voltage cables. This is the wiring harness, the MG harness that goes back to operate the tail lights, turn indicators. I'll probably be installing the 12-volt car battery, a small one, over in this area here. I just don't have that in yet. I am installing another fuse block in the back. Some of these components back here, little relays and so forth, I want to have them fused. These are the two main contactors for the high voltage. The pre-charged circuitries here. There's some relays here. I'm not sure if I want to leave those in the box, contactor box, or mount them outside yet. There's no high voltages involved with these guys, so they really don't need to be in the box. This is the charger unit here that runs up to the plug. That's the charging plug up there and routes down to the charger there. There's still some wiring I'm doing. This is the DC to DC converter. It converts the 325 volts down to 12 volts, so it's actually acts like the alternator on a gas engine car. It will be connected to the battery for charging that, and also the power will run up front to power everything. The 12-volt system for the car. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. A lot of the work I was doing this time was pretty time consuming, so I wasn't sure if I had enough video content to put this out, but ended up actually having to edit quite a bit of it. Another little update, a few episodes back I showed you our Mini having transmission problems. Well, they were a little worse than what we hoped for, so the whole transmission is getting rebuilt. So there's a delay on getting that car back together and on the road again. Hopefully it'll be back on the road in the next 2 months, maybe. Hopefully. Have some more fun driving that this summer. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode.